I have given my heart and soul to my husband for 20 years. One day, when I return home, I find signed divorce papers. I swiftly reach out to him, and he answers with a frosty tone.
I'm moving out of the house. Make sure to sign the divorce papers, okay?
What? This is too sudden. At least tell me the reason.
Fine, I will tell you. My girlfriend is pregnant. You are no longer needed.
Girlfriend? Pregnant? What are you talking about?
I won't pay a cent for alimony. There is no proof of my infidelity anyway.
I'm bursting with rage at this point. I've dedicated myself entirely to him, managing the household, caring for our child, and tending to his mom for 2 decades. Yet, he wants to end it with a single phone call for such a selfish reason. You just wait and see. I immediately suppress my anger. Oh, I see. Fine. Let's get a divorce.
Oh, really?
In the following month, he goes into a frenzy, bombarding me with calls. I'm Martha, a 46-year-old nurse. I've taken pride in working since I was younger. My husband's name is Tony. He's 2 years older than me and works in a telecom company. We met through our mutual friend. His dependable and manly attitude grabbed my heart back then. We started going out, and eventually, he popped the question. I was thrilled to be engaged to him. His father had passed away during his university, so his mother lived alone. I heard that she was from an affluent family, and she carried an air of sophistication. Oh, what a lovely girl! I'm so glad to have you as my family. She gave me a gentle smile. I was happy to have such a charming mother-in-law. After we got married and moved in together, I discovered that he had no intention of sharing household chores. He left his laundry lying around, didn't take out the trash, and never bothered to clean up after eating. Since we were both working, I asked him several times to help out, but all he ever said was,
Housework is a wife's responsibility. Don't try to make me do it.
Back then, society was a little more conservative compared to today, and there was still a belief that housework was a wife's duty, and men should be put on a pedestal. So I obediently followed this idea. Not long after we got married, I became pregnant. While Tony was happy about it, he still didn't lift a finger to help me at home. If I couldn't do it due to morning sickness, he would even become visibly upset.
Geez, are we having takeout again today?
Sorry, but I'm feeling sick again. I've been in bed all day.
Such a lazy wife.
He could have made something by himself. I wished he would show some consideration for me. Despite my thoughts, I apologized. I believed that taking care of my husband's needs was a wife's duty, and I did my best to be attentive to him. Even after our daughter Sarah was born, he remained the same. He played with her only when she was in a good mood, and avoided diaper changes or making formula. No matter how many times I told him we would share parenting, he just didn't get it. I was running around taking care of Sarah and housework from morning to night, while he only focused on his job. Even after I returned to work, nothing changed. He remained indifferent to childcare and spent his time as he pleased. During those times, Cassidy occasionally helped out. She really adored Sarah without making any complaints to me. I was saved by her presence. As the years went by, we somehow reached our 20th wedding anniversary. Sarah was 18 years old and living in a university dorm. I was thinking that I would have more time for myself even though I was still juggling work and the chores daily. However, I received a call saying that Cassidy had fallen down at home and broken a bone. When Tony and I went to the hospital, she looked devastated. Well, I'm getting old. I could leave the hospital soon, but I would need care for my daily life.
Don't worry about it. Martha is going to help you.
To my surprise, Tony told her as if it was no big deal. I had a full-time job. I thought I finally could start thinking about my own life. Sensing my inner turmoil, Cassidy spoke up. But she works full-time and is already busy. I can't burden her. Tony looked at me and asked if I could manage with a hint of pressure. I couldn't say no, so I had to say, leave it to me. That was how I ended up juggling all the household chores, working, and taking care of my mother-in-law. Tony left the caregiving entirely to me and didn't even ask about her condition. I couldn't help but think he was cold-hearted. But for Cassidy's sake, I continued to do my best every day. Around that time, he began working late and spending a lot of time away from home. Despite claiming overtime, he often came home late at night drunk. I ended up eating dinner alone more frequently, feeling lonely. 3 months after I started caring for Cassidy, our 20th wedding anniversary approached. I had arranged for us to go out for dinner to celebrate. In the midst of the daily grind of work, housework, and caregiving, it was the one thing I looked forward to. Honey, don't forget, we have a dinner reservation for our wedding anniversary tonight. Let's meet in front of the restaurant, okay? I reminded Tony, handing a briefcase to him as he was leaving for work.
I know. See you later.
I watched him walk out of the door, and then I headed to work as well. After finishing my shift, I waited in front of the restaurant at the agreed-upon time of 6 p.m., but he didn't show up. I got anxious and tried calling him multiple times, but he didn't answer. Finally, on the 8th call, he picked up. It sounded pretty noisy where he was.
Why are you calling me over and over?
It's our anniversary dinner, remember? It's almost time. He made a dismissive snigger and responded.
Never mind the anniversary. Seriously, it's pointless celebrating that now.
What the?
Only you care about that stuff. Go ahead and celebrate on your own. Just so you know, I'm not coming home tonight.
Wait, hold on. He hung up without listening to my pleas. In the end, I couldn't bring myself to eat alone, so I canceled the reservation and left the restaurant disappointed. I told Sarah what happened when she called. She got angry on my behalf and called him a jerk, which made me feel a bit better. Afterward, I went to check on Cassidy. She noticed the air of gloom surrounding me and asked what happened. I ended up telling her about how Tony had canceled our anniversary dinner. Her face became quite serious, and I immediately regretted telling her. As I grew anxious, she spoke in a solemn tone. Listen, Martha, I must tell you something. And then, she stunned me with her unexpected revelation. 3 months had passed since then. When I returned home from stopping by Cassidy's after work, my house was pitch dark. As soon as I turned on the lights, I saw something on the table that left me speechless. They were divorce papers left by Tony. I immediately reached out to him. Honey, where are you? What are these papers? He didn't hide his annoyance and replied,
I'm moving out of the house. Just sign those, okay?
What? This is too sudden. At least tell me why.
I will tell you then. My girlfriend is pregnant. You are no longer needed.
Girlfriend? Pregnant? you talking about?
I won't pay a cent of alimony. There is no proof of my infidelity anyway.
I was burning with rage at that moment. I dedicated myself entirely to him, managing the household, caring for our child, and tending to his mom for 2 decades. Yet, he wanted to end it with a single phone call for such a selfish reason. I thought, you just wait and see. I immediately suppressed my anger. Oh, I see. Fine. Let's get a divorce.
Oh, really?
He sounded surprised by my reaction. Maybe he thought I would get angrier or beg. I calmly asked him, So, what are your plans for your mother's caregiving if we divorce?
Caregiving? I'm sure I will figure out something. If you're so concerned about it, go ahead and you can continue. Anyway, I gotta go now. It feels so good to know that I don't have to see your face anymore.
With that, the call ended. I couldn't help but smile as I held my phone. Afterward, I gave Sarah a rundown of what was happening. Finally, you're better off without him. Let me know if you need my help. Once again, I was left dumbfounded at how little he was regarded by his own daughter. About a month later, I received a call during my lunch break. It was from Tony, so I ignored it, but the phone didn't stop ringing. He was bombarding me with incessant calls. It was becoming quite annoying, so I reluctantly picked it up. Yeah?
At last! What the heck do you think you're doing by sending me that?
Oh, you got it, huh? I replied to his anger nonchalantly. He continued shouting nonsense, which I cut it off by saying, Come to your mom's place tonight at 7 p.m. We'll talk there. Then I hung up the phone. That night, I waited for him with Cassidy at her house until he arrived, looking all pissed off.
God darn you! What do you think you're doing?
What do you mean?
I mean this. You're coming after me for alimony.
He handed me the documents sent through a lawyer. I calmly told him, Well, we are getting a divorce because of your affair, so asking for alimony is only fair, right?
Where's the proof of my affair then?
Your girlfriend is with your child, right? You said so yourself. He fell silent. I wondered how reckless he could be without realizing it himself.
But there should be no concrete proof of the affair. If I just play dumb, I won't need to pay alimony.
I threw several photos at him while he stammered out excuses. They were of him walking arm in arm with a young woman and entering a hotel.
What the heck? Were you having me followed?
Obviously. Did you have fun meeting your girlfriend behind my back?
I thought you had no idea.
Then, Cassidy spoke up. I told her to look into your activities. I saw you walking with that woman when I was coming back from the hospital.
What, you?
That night, when our anniversary dinner was cancelled, she shamefully revealed about witnessing his affair. She urged me to act fast and even offered to cover the investigation fee if needed. With her assistance, I had the evidence collected. He brought up the divorce after that. So when he did, I already knew about his affair. I spoke matter-of-factly to Tony, who looked at me and Cassidy alternately. So we are getting a divorce. I will claim $30,000 for alimony and property division.
Wait a minute. Please spare me from alimony. I have a new life waiting for me, you know. I'm going to have a child with her.
The confidence and bravado from earlier disappeared, and he pleaded meekly. I looked down at him with a cold gaze. No, I will not spare you. If you refuse to pay, We'll go to court or whatever it takes." Hearing that, he suddenly became defiant.
Fine. I will pay alimony or whatever. Anyway, I will inherit my mom's estate soon. Her family is rich, and I'm her only son. I'm going to get a substantial inheritance, you know.
He sneered with a malicious expression. At that moment, Cassidy, looking exasperated, said, "You couldn't have cared less about me, and you betrayed Martha, who devoted herself to raising Sarah and caring for me. Do you really think you're getting an inheritance?" "I intend to give my assets to her and Sarah before I pass away. I've already changed the beneficiary for my life insurance to her. Don't expect to get anything from me."
No way!
He pleaded with her to reconsider over and over, but she was adamant. Frustrated, he glared at me.
You manipulated my mom. Remember this.
Then, I decided to drop another bomb on him. "Oh, by the way, should I tell you something interesting?"
What?
He looked bewildered, and I handed him a manila folder. As he looked at the contents, his face turned paler and paler.
What the heck is this?
As you can see, it's evidence of your girlfriend Jessica meeting her real boyfriend. The pictures inside showed her hanging out with a young, handsome guy, kissing and doing what happy young couples do. Jessica, who had been working at a bar, seems to be deeply involved with one of the regulars. Tony trembled as he looked at the photos.
This can't be true. She's pregnant with my child.
Despite that, she was drinking heavily at the bar and was puffing away on cigarettes too.
What?
Well, this is what I found during my investigation. But she hadn't been to the obstetrician either. I doubt she's even pregnant.
But she was asking me for money for maternity checkups and baby clothes.
I couldn't help but burst into laughter. Seriously, do you really think a woman this young and beautiful would marry a middle-aged average Joe like you? Haven't you figured it out yet? She was just using you for money.
I'm ashamed of my son.
Then, he started to tremble and attempted to make a call somewhere. But the announcement on the other end said, "The call cannot be completed as dialed."
Why? What's going on?
I laughed at his clueless face. "She has probably blocked you. Looks like you've been dumped."
No, it can't be.
He collapsed to his knees, devastated. Then he suddenly clung to me.
Martha, I've been the biggest fool. I was deceived. The only person I truly love is you. Let's start over. Let's go back to being a happy family with Sarah and Mom.
He tried to grab my hand, and I forcefully pushed him away. "Don't touch me. You left me like that after I spent 20 years dedicating to you. I will never forgive you. Pay up and get lost, you scumbag." Then I kicked him out of the house while he bawled his eyes out in such a shameful way. Later on, we finalized our divorce. I was able to claim alimony from him and received a substantial portion in the property division. Sarah and Cassidy blocked his calls and stopped talking to him as well. Due to his financial contribution to his girlfriend, he had almost depleted his savings. He had to borrow money to pay alimony. At work, he used to brag about marrying a younger woman and having a child. It now became a running joke after his colleagues found out that he was dumped, and her pregnancy turned out to be a lie. He has been referred to as a pathetic old man who was fooled by a younger girl and abandoned by his wife since then. He lost his family, savings, and accumulated debts, forcing him to live in a rundown apartment. He's taken an extra job, working night shifts at the construction site to repay his debt. Even with this knowledge, I feel no sympathy for him. Instead, I think he got what he deserved. On the other hand, I sold a house and now live comfortably in a new apartment. Soon, I plan to take Sarah and Cassidy on vacation, using the alimony we won. Cassidy's health is improving, and she has been expressing her gratitude to me. From now on, I will cherish what's left and move forward with a bright outlook on life.